I'd like to give you a chance too to talk about your seniors. You have four that were honored in between your games on the last day of the season. Talk about the mark that those seniors have left on your program. I know that we've talked about Katie Cole quite a bit, and Jordan Clemons obviously too, and they're huge parts of Warrior softball. But kind of as a group, what do you think about the seniors?
Yeah, I think what has gotten lost in all of the personal accolades that they have is how great of a group they were. It's the winningest class in the history of our program, and we've been very fortunate to have some success in this program. We won some championships and had some big wins, and for any class to be the winningest class is really impressive. And they have almost 200 wins to their credit as a group. I think it was 195 wins as a team. And almost more impressively, they've only lost 11 games in the NSIC in 5 years. And for as good as this league is, to have the record they have overall and within the league, and they've won 2 conference championships, they've won a conference tournament championship, they've made 3 trips to the regional tournament. It's the collection of what they've done together as a group that's really impressive. But as I've talked so often in the last couple of weeks, as people want to talk about the seniors in the senior class, they are really instrumental in the culture of our program too. 2016, we had a little hiccup and we had a 10-year run of going to the regional tournament and making the NCAA tournament, and it came to an end in 2016. And this group came in as freshmen in 2017, and you didn't really know where we were going to go because we were so young. We were starting 3 or 4 freshmen, and they kind of reinvigorated the program at the time and kind of gave a renewed emphasis on winning and in a really strong culture and chemistry and environment. And that's why they've been successful. It's why they've won. But I think sometimes we forget to look at what they've done holistically because of the individual numbers and fame that they've had.
Now, we were talking with Coach Polk about the fact that usually game day is when graduation happens, and so the spring athletes don't always get a chance to walk, but you were off on Friday when graduation happened. Did these seniors get a chance to participate in graduation?
We were off, and I asked them if they were going to, and Allie had graduated at semester, so she had already gone through graduation in December, but the others did not walk. They did not go through that process, so yeah, I guess to each your own, and how every family chooses to handle it. I know I wasn't going to when I was in college, but my mother told me I was, so I did. And so I think they chose to not do it. We had practice that day; they were there, and chose to honor themselves that way, I guess.
Okay, but you did honor them then in a pregame or a mid-game ceremony, I think, where you're able to announce them because you were at home and present them. I saw the plaque with the jersey and the effects in there. That was a really nice way to honor the seniors.
Yeah, we were able to talk about each of them individually, and we were able to take them all out of the game at one time. We were fortunate enough to have a sizable enough lead in the game against Wayne on Sunday that I could go out in the 4th inning and get them all at one time, let them walk off together. Instead of just subbing them for an at-bat or subbing a kid in at the beginning of an inning, I could let them all walk off the field on their terms together and then have the ceremony between games. And so it really played out about as well as it could play out for a senior class.
All right, very good. Let's talk about the games that happened this weekend. It really was quite a difference. We can talk a little bit about Augustana, maybe not a whole lot, but 10-1 and 6-2 against Augustana. You knew those were going to be tough games heading into those. Tell us a little bit about what happened during those 2 games.
I thought we had a really good week of preparation. I thought emotionally we were really ready. I thought our energy was good. That's a good ball club over there. And it's, we played them 7 times 2 years ago and they won the national championship. And I said to the team afterwards that this is a better version of that team. They are a really, really talented group, and it doesn't make them unbeatable. It's just they're they're an incredibly talented group. They hit the ball well, they pitch well, they run the base well. They just put you under constant duress as a team, because if they don't hit the ball in the ballpark, now they might steal second, and then they get a base hit and they score anyway. But you've got to make plays. We got caught up. We made 3 errors against them. We've been really good defensively this year. They put a little pressure on us, and we cracked a little bit on the defensive side. It's just a team you can't give any extra outs to. But I also know that we didn't play our best game, and it's not about a rematch or a challenge. It's just that they played really well. They probably had a little more talent on the field than we did, and their talent played at its highest, and that made for a really lopsided day.
You did say, though, that Game 2 was a much better game than Game 1. Tell us a little bit about what happened in the second game.
Yeah, I really liked the way Game 2 went, other than the final score. I thought we were in it throughout. We took an early 2-0 lead, which I thought was a great answer on our kids' part. Allie Nowak stepped up and hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. And again, I thought our energy all throughout Game 1 was really good, but just the resiliency that showed for a team to come back after getting beat 10-1 on your home field, to come right out, put up a 0 in the first inning, Al to hit a big home run to give us the lead. And then it was just a softball game from there. We started Emily on the mound. It was only her second career start, and to have a second career start against the number 1 team in the country is kind of a big deal. And she had come in for an inning in relief in Game 1 and really had them off balance. And so that's what we just said, we're going to stay with it as long as we can. And she gave up a couple there in the 4th inning, and we had Liz ready to go. And then Liz came in and threw really well, but Emily's changeup was working really well. Got a lot of easy outs, pop-ups, ground outs. Kind of had them out on their front foot, and she put up zeros for the first 3 innings and gave us a chance. And so again, in Game 2 was really just a regular softball game. In Game 1, it kind of felt like a dismantling, but I was really happy with the resiliency we showed. And I'm not big on moral victory, but I think for all of us, it kind of showed that, okay, we can still play the game and we're okay. And then we bounced back on a big way on Sunday.
Yeah, you kind of took your frustrations out on Wayne State in those 2 games, 18-0 and 15-0. What kind of goes through your head in games like that? Because I know that you're not the kind of coach to run up a score, but at the same time, you still have to play the game, and kind of what happens. And I know that it's tough to be in the situation on the other end where you're getting beat really badly, but kind of your philosophy in what happens in a blowout game like that.
Philosophically, I guess where I played is I play with the foot on the accelerator until it's a 10-run lead. And after 10, I pretty much back off. We'll start making some substitutions at that point. And when you get up we scored 11 in the first inning, and you get up that big and you still have a lot of at-bats left, it really changes things, and you stop moving on pass balls and go station to station on the bases. And I was just having this conversation in my office today that as a coach, I don't know which is worse, to have somebody run up the score or have somebody completely stop playing the game. And because as a coach, we've all, again, just on Saturday, we got 8 run. And there's no worse feeling than getting, beat that bad. But when you're getting beat so bad that the other coach is basically not playing the game, that feels sometimes worse. So it does get hard. It gets tricky. But I was really happy that our kids came out aggressively. It was a tough feel before the game because I think they were still kind of licking their wounds from the day before. And you just kind of wanted them to forget about it and move forward. And when they put up an 11 spot in the first inning, I knew they had moved on. So it was a good day. Everybody hit well. Everybody got to play extended innings, and we got to honor the seniors. So it ended up being a perfect end of the week.
All right. I do want to ask one question about Jordan Clemons, because in Game 1 of Wayne State, she gets the win, 20 wins in a season, which obviously, if you're a baseball fan, that's a huge thing for a baseball. But in softball, to get that, especially in a shortened season like you kind of had this year, are even you surprised that something like that happened this season?
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. I just wasn't, because I don't pay a lot of attention to our stats per se, other than when you really need to use them. And so I hadn't really known where she was in the victory category. And I think she's the single season record holder with 29 from a couple of years ago. And 29 is obviously a massive number, and that's why it's a record. But 20 is a big number. And kind of when we start the year, one of my visions for this team always is I like to get to 40 wins. And, well, with a 44-game schedule, that's a little tougher than when you're playing a 56-game schedule. But in my head, that means, okay, you're asking your pitchers to go out there and each be 20-game winners. And that's just not easy to do. And so knowing that and processing that and then seeing that, in the box score that was her 20th win, it just kind of surprised me. I was like, wow, that's a pretty good year in a 44-game docket. And for a kid that went out there every other game, that means she won pretty much every time she went to the hill, which is impressive.
All right, coming up for you, now have the NSIC tournament. You draw the 3rd seed in that. You face number 6 seed St. Cloud, a team that you beat twice this season. However, they were very close games. And the other part of this is that this tournament is being played in Rochester, so you don't have very far to go, which is obviously good to you. It's not the same field that you played on earlier this year when you played in the Dome. But what are your expectations for the tournament, and especially against St. Cloud State?
Well, I think St. Cloud's a really good and really bad matchup for us all at the same time. Good from the standpoint of how good they are, that we can't look at trying to win the tournament. We just got to focus on St. Cloud. It's not it's such a good first round game that you can't look past it. It's not, it's been a while since we've been a 3 seed. We've been a 1 or a 2, since 2017. And again, that's not easy either. But when you're a 3 playing a 6, you just know it's a really good matchup. And because we're a 3, you're trying to win the conference tournament to get in the regional. But they're so good, you can't do that. You can't focus on anything but St. Cloud. For that reason, I really like the matchup because we can't get ahead of ourselves. I hate the matchup because of how good they are and how tough those games were at their place a couple weeks ago. We got on the bus after that, and I just looked over at Coach T and I said, man, I'm exhausted. And those were meat grinders. And so to open with them again is certainly a challenge. They've got a lot of talent over there. And so it'll be a big first-round game. And it's kind of a coin flip game. It's just going to be who plays well, who executes the game, who plays together the longest. And, being in Rochester is really nice. This will be 2019 it was over there. Then we didn't have a season last year. Now we're back there. It was over there a few years back, and we didn't do real well over there. But in 2019, we had a great tournament run. It's nice for the fans to be able to get over there of, not only our parents, but the local fans from Winona State. I'm hoping it's a long-lasting relationship over there. They do a really nice job with the tournament. It's kind of a neutral site, so you're not on a campus site, but you got plenty of hotels and restaurants, and it really makes for a really nice environment for a tournament.